Okay. So first part is going to be about the arithmetic sequences. Find an expression in terms of n for the nth term of the sequence. There is an increase in 3 for all the next terms. So I can say that a plus d n minus 1 is the general formula for the arithmetic sequences, where a is the first term and d is the common difference, that's 3. N minus 1, you just have to solve it. You'd get 3n minus 3. So 3n minus 2 would be the nth term for the first part. Okay. The nth term for a different arithmetic sequence is 5n plus 17. Find the 12th term in the sequence. Quite simple. In place of n, you're just going to be substituting 12 because you need the 12th term. So 5 times 12 plus 17. Plug that in a calculator. So 5 times 12 plus 17 is as simple as 77. So the second term you're going to get as 77. So that's going to be it. Okay. Now let's move on to the question number 2. 450 students were asked how they traveled to school on Monday. Each student walked or traveled by bus or traveled by a car or traveled by bicycle. Each student used just one method of travel. One of these students is chosen at random. So one of these students are chosen at random, and the table shows the information about the probability of each method of travel. Okay. Work out how many of the 450 students traveled by a car. Okay. First of all, if you need or about like how many travel by a car, you basically need to have 450 and you have to multiply it by probability of going by car. So that's always the case. You have to like total times the probability of going by the car. Since you do not have the probability of going by the car, that's in terms of x. So initially what you will be doing is, so 0.2 plus x plus 2x plus 0.26. All of these individual probabilities would end up giving me 1 as an answer. So my value would go like this: 0.2 plus 0.26 would be 0.46 plus 3x is equals to 1. So it's going to be 3x is equals to 1, take away 0.46, and then that divided by 3 would give you the value of x, which I'm getting as 0.18. So as far as in case of car is concerned, so probability of going by car would be 2 times of 0.18, which is going to be equal to 0.36. That's the probability of going by the car. How many of 450 students? So you have to multiply 450 by the probability of going by the car, and then 450 multiplied by 0.36, you would get the number of students as 162. My child, the sum of all the probabilities is always equal to 1. Sum of all the probabilities is always equal to 1. From that, I worked out the value of x. That is basically the probability of the bus or whatever the x value of x. Since the probability of going by the car is 2 times x, so I plugged in 2 times the value of x, and this is what I got as a probability of going by the car. For example, this means that out of 1, there's a chance of 0.36 that I go by the car, or let's say 36%. So if let's say I take a sample of 450 people, around of those 36% would be going by the car. So 450 times by 36% or times it by 0.36, same thing. That is going to give me 162 as an answer, and 162 are the total number of kids that would be students that would be traveling by the car. That's a 4 marker. It's a good question. Okay. Moving on. Now find the highest common factor of 72 and 108. Okay, so 72 and 108. I'd like to solve it like this. Mm, You can solve it whatever way suits you. So first of all, there's going to be 2, 36, 2, 18, 2, 9, 3, 3, and 3, 1. Okay, so 2, 54, 2, 47. Oh, sorry, 27, 3, 9 times 3, 3, and 3, 1. So 72 can be written as 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 3, and then 108 can be written as 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 times 3. If you have to make a common factors, so 2, another 2, a 3, another 3, 2 times 2 times 3 times 3. I think that's pretty much what, like, that's pretty much it. So you can multiply that and get a value. 36, I'm getting as the common. Okay, now this one's pretty easy. Ava records the number of kilometers she drives each month. She drives, okay. In April, Ava drove 943 kilometers. Work out the number of kilometers Ava. Okay, this is 15% more than the number of kilometers she drove in March. Work out the number of kilometers Ava drove in March. Acha. What I personally like to do is I use the unitary method for this. So in April, let's say April, and let's say May, March. So in April, Ava drove 943 kilometers, and this is 15% more. So this 943 basically represents 115%. That's like 15% more than the normal. And in March, the original number would be like X, and it would have like it would be equal to the 100%. So I always take it like this. So 943 is 115, and then X is going to be 100. So the equation goes like this: 943 times it by 100 equals to X times 115. So 943 times 100 over 115. You can do it in decimals, 1.15. If you have learned in that like that, I learned it in percentage. It's the same thing. There's no need to worry about anything. So that's the same thing. Then answer should be divided by 115. The value would be 820, that I'm getting as 820 kilometers would be the distance she had covered in March. Mhm.
Okay.
This one's good. Okay. In the diagram, A, B, C, D, E, A, B, C, D, E is a regular pentagon. Pent means 5 sides. Angle AEF is 96. All right. Work out the size of the obtuse angle FED. Okay. Now, since it's a 5 sided shape, so first of all, sum of all angles in a polygon. There's a formula for that that goes n minus 2 times by 180. So n minus 2 times by 180, that's the formula. So since it's a pentagon, there are going to be 5 sides to it. 5 minus 2 times by 180. So that's going to be 3 times 180. And the total sum of all the angles will be 540 degrees. That's the total sum of all the angles. like if you need one angle, like let's say these are all like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, all five summed up would be 540. If you just need one angle, so 540 would be divided by the number of angles that are going to be 5. So divided by 5, you would get the angle that's one angle. So this one or any one would be equal to 108. This division by 5 can only be done if there's a regular polygon, because in a regular polygon all angles are equal, and this is the formula for the sum of angles. Then you divide it by 5, you got 108. That is one angle. My child, the question was asking about this particular angle. This one was given. This is 108. So the total sum of like all angles about a point is 360 degrees. From 360, you can subtract 108 and 96. So 360 subtracted by 108 and 96. So 360 take away 108 and 96. You would get the remaining part of the angle. That's obtuse angle, which is going to be 156 degrees, and that's your answer. So 156 degrees. First of all, I got the total angle by the formula for the total sum of all the angles. This n basically are number of sides. Since there are 5 sides, I'm going to plug in 5 in place of over here, and then from there I would get the total angle, total sum of all the angles in a polygon, internal angles, sum of all internal angles, that I got as 540 degrees. From that I divided it by 5 because I don't need all the angles, I just need one of them. So 540 divided by 5, I got this one angle, internal angle. This is the formula for the internal angle, internal inside angle. So that was 108. Since the question was asking about this angle, the whole angle is 360. I took away 96 and 108 and got the remaining angle of FED as 156. All right. Now this is very simple. I'm just going to expand and simplify that. So it's going to be m squared plus 5m, and then minus 8m minus 4 5 4 8 5 40. Going to be m squared minus 3m minus 40, and that's pretty much it. And then there's this one. Okay, solve this one. Okay, this show the clear algebraic working. So whenever they ask you about the clear algebraic working, first of all, this 3 is dividing over here, it would be multiplied. So 3n minus 4, the whole thing would be multiplied by 3, is going to be equal to 5n plus 6. That's going to be 9n minus 12 equals 5n plus 6. So 9n minus 5n would be equal to 6 plus 12. That's going to be 4n equals 18, and n is going to be 18 over 4, which can be simplified and written as 9 over 2. My child,
So you
whenever
just
they
rearrange.
ask, come again?
So you just basically rearrange it.
Basically what?
You rearrange it, like rearrange the equation.
Yeah, whenever they're asking you to solve it, you have to get the value of the unknown. You have to get the value of the unknown. So when if they're asking solve it, you're gonna get the value of the unknown. Whenever they're asking you to like expand and simplify, then there's no need to get the power of like a value of anything. You're just gonna be writing it in simplified forms. They're asking you to get the value of n. For the value of n, you have to actually have to solve it and get the value. You can write it as 4 over 4.5, but it's recommended to write it in fractions. The first answer of the mark scheme always recommends it to write it in the fractions. So that's how you solve it. All clear till now?
Yeah.
With the
Okay.
multiplication aspect, everything regarding this?
No, everything makes sense. It's straightforward.
Okay. Okay. Moving on. That's basically basic sets and Venn diagrams. Okay. There's a universal set. There are even numbers. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be like, okay, let's draw the Venn diagram then. First of all, before drawing the Venn diagrams, first write the numbers down as well. So even numbers are going to be 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34. For the multiples of 3, it's going to be 24, 27, 30, 33. And then there's B. Okay. Now, if you draw, like if you want to draw a Venn diagram, I personally also draw the Venn diagram. That's what I used to do as well. It reduces the chance of the error by a greater extent. Okay, let's call this one A, this one B, this one C. For A, we have got, okay, first we'll see that what comes in all three. So there's nothing that comes in all three. 24 comes in A and C. So A and C, you can write 24. All right. And 20, 30 comes also in A and C. So A and C, 30 is also there. And 33 now. Okay. Uh, B and A, B and A, nothing is common. And B and C, yeah, nothing is common, B and C. B has 23, 29, 31, and C has 27 and 33 remaining, whereas A has 24 done, 26, 28, 32, 34 remaining, and 23 done, 24 done, 25 is outside, 26 done, 27 done, 28 done, 29 done, 30 done, 31 done, 32 even, 33 done, and 34 done. Okay, that's pretty much it. So now B union C means everything that's either in B or C. Everything that's in B or C is B union C. So B union C would be 23, 29, 31, 24, 30, 27, 33. It can be in B, it can be in C, anything like even touches a part of C or a B, that's all you have to write down. That's it doesn't mean common. Union doesn't mean common, it either means either in that or in that. Okay. Now this saying that A complement other than A and common in C. So it should not be in A and it should be in C. So A not means not in A. A it's called complement. You can say A not. That means A not A. So A not means nothing in there and should be common in C. This is interception. So common in C, there comes only this part. So A not and common in C is just going to be these two, 27 and 33. Okay. Now this is a good part. So they're saying that in B, is it true that B intersection C is a null set? So B and C is a null set. That's true. There's nothing in there. So B and C is yes, it's true. This is a symbol for a null set. That means no element is there. Like null set, nothing is there. Okay. Give a reason for your answer. If you can, if I would think of a reason, I would think of it like this: that if you look at B, B is basically all prime numbers. Like 23 is a prime number, it doesn't come in any other table. 29 also a prime number. 31 also a prime number. So if you think of, if I would write a reason, I would say that B is only a prime number and C are multiples, so they can't overlap. So you can say B is like sets of prime numbers and C are multiples of 3 and multiples can't be prime numbers. So I would write like this. So that's pretty much it. There are a lot of things that you can write down, whatever suits you, but this is the most perfect way. Okay. The set D has four members. So there's a set D that has four members. D, okay, A union C and common D are is a null set. Oh, that's crazy. They're saying that, okay, A union C, this thing and D has nothing in common. Like this thing and D has nothing in common. That means none of the elements over here can be a D. Okay, list the members of set D. So now this is really good question. There are two hints to this. Okay, if I would have been solving at your age, maybe I would have gotten it wrong. But think about it. They're saying it has four members. So four members are the must. So they're like, or from all these, it should at least it's like it has to have four members. Okay, and those four members cannot be anyone from here. And where did that come from? They say that This means that A union C means anything that's either in A or C has nothing common with D. That means if there's a set D somewhere, anywhere, that has nothing common that comes in either A or C. So there's nothing, no, none of these elements can be the part of it. Still, it has got four elements. So the other four left elements are 23, 29, 31, and 25. So if I would have drawn this correctly, D would have been somewhat like this. So if I would have drawn, just to like explain that, there should have been anything like this, and this would have been D, and they would have been like this. So this is basically how D looks like. It has four elements. That's what they give you: the one, two, three, and the remaining one, the outside one. So 23, 29, 31, and 25. So 23, 29, 31, and 25. These are all the four elements. That's for D. All clear till now? You can ask me for any repeating concepts if you need, kiddo.
No, honestly, it all makes
Yeah,
sense.
because this is 2024 exam, so I was planning to solve all 2024 physics, maths, all papers, especially 2024 to like together, so that uh, it's because they're very recent. There's no like, it's very important. Okay, now the cylinder is placed on the table. So they're saying that there's a cylinder that's placed on the table, and this question is of 3 marks. Okay, the volume of the cylinder is given as 1575. The force exerted by the cylinder on the table is 84 newtons. Work out the pressure. So pressure, okay, that's excellent. Okay, so pressure is force over area. So force is 84, and I don't have the area, I have the volume. So volume of cylinder is given by area into height. That's it. Really, it's given by pi r square h, but I just need the area. Na? That's why I'm not writing pi r square. So I just need area. The height is given as 21. So area I don't have, height is 21, and the volume I have as 1575. So if I need the area 1575, I would divide by 21, and the value of area would be 75 units squared or whatever. I would write units. Okay. So for now, let's calculate the pressure for now. So pressure is going to be 84 divided by area that I just calculated, 75. So 84 divided by 75 would be equivalent to 1.12. So the pressure is going to be 1.12 newtons per centimeter squared. My child, this is 1 mark. My child, this is the second mark for the application, and the third mark is for this one. And these are all 3 marks. There's no need to get the radius first, calculate it in terms of radius. It's very long. Just get the area. If you would have gotten the radius first, it's not necessary at all. Just get this and I get the whole marks. Okay.
That's it.
All good? Clear? Okay, very good. The table gives the amount of rice produced by each of the two countries in 2020, Indonesia and Argentina. Write 3.5 times 10 to the power of 7 as an ordinary number. So again, you would say 3, 5, and you would add 6 zeros to it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 zeros to it, you would get the full marks. So I would recommend to just like put, put a lot of zeros. Then since there's 7, so you have to like move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Remove the remaining ones and write 3, 5, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's ordinary. Okay. In 2020, Japan produced 678,000 more tons of rice than Argentina. Work out the amount of rice Japan produced in 2020. Okay, it's more. Okay. In 2020, Japan produced this much more than Argentina. Okay. So 678,000 plus the value for Argentina is this. I would first write it in the normal form. So 8, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. What I do is I first of all write them in ordinary numbers. Then I use a calculator to add them up first. So then I add them up. So just to be clear, I just add them up. So 8, 2, 3, 4, yes. And the total number that I'm getting is 7600,000. So that's the total number of tons that I'm getting. Now I can just put it in standard forms like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So when you convert that, it's going to be 7.6. So left, when you're moving left, left positive, right negative. LPRN, left positive. So 10 to the power of 6. 7.6 times 10 to the power of 6, you would get this much tons of rice in Japan in standard forms. I hope that's clear and makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. Now they're saying that in question number 10 that simplify.
Can you scroll back up 1 second?
Yes.
Okay, it's fine now. Thank you.
Okay. Simplify. I'll share the whole PDF with you. Don't worry. Should simplify 2p to the power 0 where p is greater than 0. Okay. Anything to the power 0 is always equal to 1. So anything powered 0 is always equal 1. Power to 0 is always equal to 1. Equal to 1. Okay. Find the value of n in the second one. Okay. It's basic indices. So y to the power 9 times by y to the power negative 3 equals y to the power n. If the bases are same and there's like a multiplication sign in the middle, you can add them up. So 9 plus negative 3 is equal to n. So the all bases are same. I've removed the bases. I've just plugged in the values. So that's basically 9 minus 3 equals n. So 9 minus 3 would be 6 equals n. So that's going to be 6. Okay. Now this simplification. Okay. So this 5, a to the power 4, c to the power square, and then there's a cube on the top. Power and power always multiplies. So first of all, 5 cubed. 5 cubed is going to be 125. So 5 5s are 25 and 25 5s are 125. A. 4 3s are 12. So a to the power 4 times 3 is 12. And c to the power 3 2s are 6. So power and power equals multiply. So they always multiply. So that's going to be this is going to be the answer for this one. That's indices. So that's again question number 10 done. Moving on to question number 11. That looks like a good question for marker. Okay. This says that the diagram shows a roof support. The roof support is made of four lengths: AB, AC, BC, MC. Okay. AB, BC, MC, and AC. Okay. AC and BC, they're both equal. That's 9. AB is 12. That's okay. AMC is 90. That's okay. Lewis is going to buy lengths of wood to make the roof support. Okay, so he's going to buy wood to make the roof support. Okay. The wood cost 21.50 euros per meter. Okay, 21.50 euros per meter. Okay. Each length of the wood he buys has to be a whole numbers in meters. Work out the total cost of the wood Lewis needs to buy. Show your working. Excellent question. Okay. So first of all, let's find out how many meters of wood is required. First of all, okay. So there's 9, and there's 12. So that's 9 plus 9 plus 12. This one's remaining. So for MC, since it's 90 degrees, this AM would be half of 12. It would be 12. Oh, sorry, 6. It would be half of 12. That's 6. So if you just consider a triangle CAM, if you can understand this, you can see that clearly. Okay, I can use the Pythagoras theorem to get the value of AM. And for that, I can use h squared equals a squared plus o squared. So the hypotenuse is 9. The unknown side is AM. 9 9s are 81 equals 6 6 are 36 plus AM squared. So 81 minus 36, and then root that, you would get the value of length of AM as 6.71. So this value is 6.71. So the total length would be, so the total length that I would need, the total length that I would need is going to be equal to, total length is going to be equal to 9 plus 9 plus 12 plus 6.71. 9 plus 9 plus 12 plus 6.71, and the total length I need is going to be 36.71. So kiddo, there's one length 9, the other one 9, that's 18, that's 12, and that's 6.71. That's all the length combined. I've got all the length combined. Total length that I need is 36.71. The limitation is that I can't, I can only buy in meters, the whole meters. So I can't just buy 36.71. I would definitely need 36 meters to complete it. 36 meters of length, just because I can't buy that. No? So I would need 37 meters of wood. That's what I need to buy. Because 36 in decimals, the wood's not like being sold. The wood cost 21.5 euros per meter. So let's say there are 37 meters in total. So I need to multiply it by the cost of each meter, and 37 times by 21.5. I would get the total length, total cost. The total cost is going to be 795.5 euros. There's no rounding off in currency. There's no rounding off in currency. Whenever it comes to currency, you have to write the exact value. That's whole 4 marks that you would get from step by step. The marks distribution goes like this: one, there's two, there's three, there's cost four. Make sense?
Makes sense.
Everything, no problems?
Yeah, no problems. It makes sense.
Very good. Okay. Factorization. Usually this question, definitely you do it in a calculator. So again, if you do it like, if you do it in a calculator, 4 times 6, I would make the middle term, it would be 2y. Because your calculator won't give you the factorization, it would give you the values. So you have to like bring the values back as well. So 4 6 are 24 and 24. So
You just make the negative positive and the positive negative in the brackets.
yeah, you can just get the brackets done from there. Anything with whatever suits you. Just give me like say 1 second, I'll solve it. So it's so 6. Yes. 3y common. That's gonna be 2y minus 4, and then no, sorry, 2y common. It's going to be 2y common is going to be 3y
Yeah,
minus
check the
4.
mark scheme. I didn't check the mark scheme. Like I know the mark scheme for these questions. You get 1 mark for one bracket, and then you get another mark for the other bracket. That's how they usually
Yeah,
do
yeah,
it.
yeah. 3y minus 4. Yeah, that I know you get 1 mark for one bracket and the other one for the other one. Yeah, you can just either do it with a calculator, doesn't mind. I don't mind that. I'm just solving it for myself.
Oh,
This is what I do now. So sorry. Like when I was, basically these types of questions, na, it's like embedded in over here. Na? So when I was your age, like when I was a little bit younger than you, no, don't O levels, but yeah, little bit, we are 7, 8, 9. So these classrooms calculators were not like there. So equation solving in the calculator was not very common. So we used to do it in like,
nice.
so that's why I like solve it. So it's, and I have
Yeah,
some,
it's
I
fine.
have a little bit of OCD. So if like if I'm solving a whole paper and I leave a question, it like triggers a lot of that. So that's, again, I'm really sorry for that. Okay.
No, it's fine.
Okay. So now they're saying that express this as a single fraction in its simplest form. Okay. So if you like simplest form, okay, again you can like solve it whatever suits you. I personally recommend to take LCM first, so 4x and then times it by 3x. As it's a long question, it's 3 marks. Okay. So 3x will be multiplied by 2x plus 1 in this case, and 4x will be multiplied by 7 minus 5x over here. So it's going to be 6x squared plus 3x plus 7 fours are 28. 28x minus 20x squared over 12x squared. So again, it's going to be negative 14x squared plus 28, 20, and 30, 31x over 12x squared. That's not the answer. You have to take common and then simplify that as well. So you take x as common. So negative 14x squared, sorry, negative 14x plus 31 divided by 12x squared. So square cancels this. Eventually, at the last, you would be left with the value that's 31 minus 14x over 12x. Yeah, that's your answer. So that's going to be 3 marks, simplified form of what we started from here. It's 3 marks, whatever way suits you. This is, I guess, the most easiest one without any limited limitation. You can just solve it. The website that you use, they usually do a lot long working. I don't think it's really necessary. Easiest one is okay. Moving on. Question 13. Okay. Herman has two bags of beads. In bag A, there are three white beads and seven black beads. In bag B, there are five white beads and four black beads. That's very good question. So there's a bag A. So if you bag A has three white and seven black, and then there's a bag B with five white and four black. Harman takes at random a bead from bag A. Okay. For the first one, this is just bag A. So if you just consider bag A, there are going to be three whites out of 10 in total. So 3 out of 10 in total. And if you just talk about the black one, there's going to be 7 black and out of 10 in total. That's for bag A, done for bag A. Okay. Now in bag B, there are 5 whites out of 9 in total because they're like 4 and 5, 9.
Right.
And for black, it's going to be 4 over 9. Again, 5 over 9 and 4 over 9 because these are two different case scenarios. Okay. Now that's the 2 marks just to complete that. Work out the probability that Herman takes two beads of same color. So same color, it's going to be white, white, or black, black. Now there comes one limitation over here, kiddo. What you usually do, I've checked your probability worksheet, you just takes white, white and times it by 2. Can't do that over here because there's like two different aspects to it, okay? So because there are two different backs to it, I would recommend never do that. So it's going to be 3 over 10 for the first one and then times it by 5 over 9 and then add them up to black. That's going to be 7 over 10 to 4 over 9. So 3 times 5 is going to be 15 over 90. And then 7 times 4 is going to be 28 over 90. You add them up and you would be left with 43 over 90. No need to write it in decimals, just write it in the fraction forms. So 43 over 90. 43 over 90. That's going to be it. So 43 over 90. 43 is a prime number. So that's your complete marks. 5 marks for the whole question, done for probability. Okay. Question 14. Already halfway there. Okay. The combined savings, so this is good. Combined saving for of Abel and Bahira are 14 for 35 dinars. Okay. 15435 dinars. That's the total combined savings. The saving of Bahira are 45% more than the savings of Abel. Okay. The saving of Bahira are 3 over 2 times the savings of Chanda. Work out the saving of Chanda. Chanda, very good. Just relax and do it step by step. So, Abel plus Bahira total savings are 15,435. The savings of Bahira, So Bahira basically has 45% more than the savings of Abel. So let's say if Abel has X savings, or let's say you can say Abel has 100X savings, or X saving, for example, 1X. So Bahira would have 1.45X. Makes sense?
Makes sense.
And that total would be equal to 15,435. So this is Bahira, this is Abel. Okay. Okay, so that's going to be 2.45x total will be equal to 15435. I would just work out the value of x first of all. That's going to be the savings for Abel, or just the value of x, whatever suits you. So 15435. These questions would these are the actual tricky ones. So 6300 dinars are the total savings for Abel, and then if you multiply it by this, you would get the savings of Bahira. So for, let's say, if I need the savings of Bahira would be 6300 times by 1.45. So 1.45 times so the total saving of Bahira that I'm getting is 9135 dinars. That's the total savings for the Bahira. Okay. Now most of that is completed. That's this equation, 1 mark, 2, 3, 4. Last is not the least is going to be the saving of Bahira is 2 times of the Chanda. So Bahira saving 9135 is 3/2 of the savings of Chanda. So you just have to multiply that by 3/2. Sorry, not multiply that. Divide that. The saving of Bahira are 3/2 times of the savings of Chanda. So Chanda savings times 3/2 actually is the savings of the Bahira. That's what they're saying. That's a little bit of difficult English. The saving of Bahira is 3/2 times the saving of Chanda. Chanda saving of Chanda, you can say it's savings of Chanda times by 3/2 is equal to the saving of Bahira. This statement means this. So 9135, just be multiplying by 2/3, or you can divide it by 3/2, whatever suits you. 9135 times it by 2/3. The savings of Chanda are savings of Chanda would be equal to 6090. So 6090, and that's one heck of a question. Makes sense, kiddo? I think till here, like last part, this makes sense. This is the most challenging one. Everything else, like easy. All clear? The function f is defined as this. So f of x is going to be defined as 3x plus 1 over x minus 2. State the value of x that cannot be included in any domain of the function f. What is the value of x that cannot be like any value? Because one thing to be clear over here is that the denominator can never be a zero. My child, denominator can never be a zero. Never be a zero. So over here, if you can see, if I would take x as 2, the denominator would be 0. So that value 2 cannot be part of the any domain of the function because the denominator can never be 0. Make sense?
Yep, makes sense.
Write this down if this point wasn't clear before this, because yeah, okay. Express the inverse of the function in the form, okay. So first of all, the function was 3x plus 1 over x minus 2. I don't know how you guys solve it, but I would take f of x as y and make x the subject.
That's what I
So
do, and then I switch it back.
yeah, so I'll make x the subject. So y is going to be x minus 2 equals 3x plus 1. So I would say yx minus 2y equals 3x plus 1. All the x terms on this side, yx minus 3x is going to be equal to 1 plus 2y. Since I need to make x the subject, I would take x common. It could be y minus 3 equal to 1 plus 2y. So x will be equal to 1 plus 2y, and this whole thing would be divided on that side, y minus 3. Last but not the least, I always replace x with f inverse of x and y with x. So if that's how you do it, so that's wonderful. That's the way that I teach the students. We haven't done functions together because I think you were good at them. So that's how you do it. Okay. Makes sense, kiddo, everything?
Yep, makes sense.
That's wonderful. Okay. Moving on. Very good question. There are 20 sweets in a box. So there are a total of 20 sweets in a box. 15 of the sweets are red. So 15 sweets are red. 5 of the sweets are yellow. So 15 sweets are red. 5 of the sweets are yellow. Fred takes at random 3 sweets from the box. So Fred is taking 3 sweets randomly from the box. Work out the probability that Fred takes at least 1 sweet from each color from the box. Very basic. So there are 20 sweets on the box. Three. So okay. That's good question. So this one again is very big. Let's solve it one by one. Okay. So they're like 15 red and they're like 5 yellow. Work out the probability that at least take 1 sweets from is he has to take 3 sweets. So it can be red, red, yellow, or it can be red, yellow, yellow, and there can be 3 possibilities for this, and there can be 3 possibilities for this. Let me just explain that to you. So because they're like three, so red, red, yellow can also be red, yellow, red. It can be yellow, red, red. Similarly, red, yellow, yellow can be yellow, red, yellow, and it can be yellow, yellow, red. Anything other than that is not possible. So there are 3 of this and 3 of these. If you can make these 6 and understand what is done, because like 3 same colors can't be there because it at least means at least 1 red and 1 yellow should be there. So these are the total probabilities. This part that I drew in the middle in the lower end is not required. That's just to explain you that how this 3 is coming, because red, red, yellow or red, yellow, red would give the same product. Now I can just solve it for this. So 3 times the probability of getting red would be, first red would be 15 over 20. 1 sweet is now less. The second red would be 14 over 19. Still no yellow is taken, but the total will again be reduced by this. So this is going to be the first part of that. And since it's an OR, there's going to be an addition. And then 3 times. Now nothing is taken from this. So red is going to be 15 over 20. Times it by yellow is going to be 5 over 19. And the second yellow is going to be 4 over 18. So that's one way to do it. You can do it all 6, write them all 6 together. That's up to you. All these methods are present in the marking scheme. Once again, let me just plug this in a calculator. If this is not clear, please ask me, kiddo, if this is something that you want me to like repeat.
Straightforward.
Excellent, yeah. So 45 over 76. So 45 over 76. A lot of students says, sir, why is he giving us 4 marks for this? There's 1 mark for the answer, 1 mark for this 3. Just 1 mark for this 3, 1 for this, 1 for this. So 3 reading like both sides. That's 1. The other 2 individuals, and then this last answer. Okay, show that this can be written in this. Now it's basically surds. So you're going to be rationalizing the denominator. So whenever it comes to rationalizing the denominator, you're going to remove the denominator, and for doing that, you would have a different signed denominator multiplied from both of them. So 3 plus root 5 divided by 3 plus root 5. You're not allowed to plug it in the calculator. That's not allowed at all. Okay. Now you have to multiply that. So each stage of your working means each and every stage. So If you skip one stage from any working, even though the next stages are correct, the in Edexcel you won't be allotted marks for that. 3 plus root 5 over, so these are like they can be written as 3 squared, take away root 5 squared, because that's a minus b and a plus b identity. So last but not the least, it's going to be written as 3 and 3 root 5, 3 3 root 5, and then one second, 3 plus root 5 plus 3 root 5 plus 5, because root 5 times root 5 would be just 5 over 9 minus 5. So last but not the least, it's going to be 3 plus 5, that's 5, 6, 7, 8, plus 4 root 5 over 4. From the top, I would take 4 as common. That's going to be 4 plus root 5 over 4. 4 cancels, 2 plus root 5. That's each step done. Any one step, if that's missing, usually in Excel, 1 or 2 marks, they do not give you that. So a curve C has equation y is equals to x cubed minus 40x plus 1. Find the coordinates of the both of the points on C at which the gradient is 8. So whenever you have an equation for the curve and you're required to calculate the coordinates, or you have to find the coordinates where the gradient is given, first of all, you differentiate the curve. So first of all, the first step is going to differentiate the curve. Once you differentiate the curve, the power comes down, the one subtracted from the power, you would get this as a differential. Differential basically gives you the gradient. We all know that. And we have the gradient of 8. In place of dy by dx, which is basically referred to the gradient. So dy by dx is basically referred to the gradient. In place of this gradient, you would plug in 8 and you would equate that with whatever the equation you have. And from there, you would work out two different coordinates of x. Let's work it out together. So it's going to be 48 equals 3x squared. 48 over 3 is equals to x squared. So 48 over 3, that's 16, and 16 equals x squared. When you root that, now you would say, so it's just one coordinate, you're getting x as 4, but it's not that. You're getting x as x plus and minus 4. You're getting two coordinates, x can either be 4 or, and the second coordinate is unknown, or the second one, it can be minus 4, and the second coordinate is unknown. After you have found the value of x, now you have to plug both the values of x in the original equation of the curve. So again, plugging it in, y is equals to 4 cubed minus 40 times 4 plus 1. So your second value of y would be 4 cubed minus 40 times 4 plus 1. Just plug everything in a calculator to get the direct answer. So over here, I'm getting as 95. That's one. And the second one, you just plug in negative 4. So put a bracket, negative 4 cubed minus 40 times negative 4. And then plus 1, we would get 97. So these are the two coordinates that I'm getting for the points where you're getting the gradient as negative 5.
Okay, finish.
Okay.
Thanks.
Now, this question, number 19, is very interesting. So here's a quadrilateral A, B, C, and D. You have a quadrilateral A, B, C, D, and over here they're asking you to work out the value of x. Give your answers correct to three significant figures. Okay. Okay. Well, that's a 5 marker, so it's not going to be an easy one. So you have to work out the value of x. If you look at the question very carefully, you will see that you have got two sides that are there, and you don't have this side. So you can't use directly a cosine rule. First, you need this side, and once you have all three sides, then you can use a cosine rule. My child, this question is going to be done in two different steps. First, we would actually solve it to get this side, this one. For this side, if you look at it carefully, you can see that you have an angle and a side. That means this is basically a angle pair that's given, and this angle is given, and the side is unknown. So you can use a sine rule over here, first of all, to get dB. So sine A over A, the rule goes like this: sine A over A is equals to sine B over B. First of all, I always told you to use the given pair. So given pair is going to be sine of 40. So with sine, there comes the angle only divided by 12.8. That's the opposite side, equals to sine of 62. That's the angle over the unknown side, dB. Now you can clearly work out dB. So sine 62 divided by sine 40, and then from there you can like multiply the 12.8 in the top. So dB would be equal to sine 62 multiplied by 12.8 over sine 40. So I just cross multiplied that. This is multiplied over there, and sine 40 came to the denominator. We plug everything directly in a calculator. We would get dB as 17.6 units. Okay, 17.6 meters. Now, once you have dB, you have got 2 marks as well. So you have got dB and you've got 2 marks as well. From there, now you need the side, the angle x. So you have dB now. Just let me just plug in the values, 17.6. So again, now you need to work out with the cosine rule. Cosine rule states that a squared is going to be equal to b squared plus c squared minus 2 times b times c and cos of the angle. Now, my child, over here, if you look at the cosine rule, you always have to remember that the cosine rule, the side A is always the one that is opposite of the angle. So if you're finding the angle x, that means the side that you would be considering as A would be 17.6. So 17.6 squared is going to be equal to whatever sides B, doesn't really matter. The other one can be called as C. So yeah, that's B and C. 2 times 15.2 times 13.4 cos of angle is going to be x. That's what the cosine rule looks like. Again, I would recommend whatever suits you. So 17.6 squared minus 15.2 squared minus 13.4 squared. I usually do this, and then I divide the whole this thing because it's being multiplied. So this thing is being multiplied. I divide that on the other side. So it's negative 2 times 15.2 times 13.4. A lot of the students likes to solve it step by step in the calculator. I seen it to be a lot hectic compared to directly plugging all the values in at once. So I personally recommend, I personally think that's better, but it doesn't really matter. Whatever suits you is going to be your thing. So just I'm going to tell you the values. So 17.6 squared minus 15.2 squared minus 13.4 squared, and then the whole thing divided by minus 2, times it by 15.2, and then it times it by 13.4. You would be getting the value as 0.247. So 0.247 is the value you would be getting for cos x. For the value of the angle, you're going to be inversing that. So cos inverse of 0.247 would actually give you the value of x. So inversing the value, you would get the angle of x as 75.7. So this angle is going to be 75.7. So 75.7 degrees. That's what I'm getting. And this is the perfect solution for question number 19. Although it looks very challenging, but they're like, if you have the steps written to it, you can actually get it done easily. But if there's any single confusion whatsoever, just ask me to do anything that's like, if I want, I can solve it again as well.
No, it makes sense.
All makes sense? Okay.
That all makes sense. Can I just note this down?
Yeah, sure. You can take your time. Select. Look at you if you have opened the PDF. So look at the question, then look at the solution. Try like reading between the lines, everything that everything should make sense. Okay.
Okay.
Again, a really good question. So question number 20 is of 4 marks. It states that the diagram shows a sector OABC of a circle center O. The area of the shaded segment ABC is 38. That's 38. Work out the perimeter of the shaded segment ABC, which you said at the first. So I'm saying that area of sector, and then from the area of sector, if I subtract the area of triangle, I would get the area that's going to be equal to 38. So that's the first way to do it. So if you look at the area of sector, so it's going to be angle over 360. So theta over 360 times pi r squared, and the radius is unknown because the radius is unknown, minus the area of the triangle. For this triangle, I'm using the formula for the area of triangle. That's going to be half two sides, and since both of the sides are radius, so it's going to be half times r, and then sine of angle. So area of triangle is given by half two sides and then sine theta. Area of sector, the whole sector, is given by the whole sector would be half pi r square, sorry, theta over 360 times pi r squared. So I'm just going to do that for whole area. Subtracted from the area of triangle would be equal to 38, the area that's given. Over here, if you look at it, there's only one unknown now, that's going to be r. The angle of theta is 60. Kiro, you with me for this one?
Yeah, makes sense.
Seriously, okay. So just stay with me. Okay, so 0 cancels out. That's going to be 1 over 6, 6 is 36, by r squared minus 1 over 2 r squared sine of 60. That's going to be equal to root 3 over 2. You can write sine 60 as it is, equals 38. It's going to solve it a little bit. I'll take r squared common first of all. The whole thing would be left as half 1 over 6 pi minus half sine of 60 equals 38. Since this is the unknown, the r squared, this whole thing, I'll just plug in directly in a calculator. 1 over 6 pi minus 1 over 2 sine of 60, and the value for this whole thing is going to be 0.0905. So r squared is going to be 0.0905 equals 38. I'm just going to divide that. 38 going to be divided by this thingy. That's 0.0905. You would get r squared as 419.5, and then you would root the value. You would get r as 20.48. That's 20.5. So you're getting it the value of r as 20.5. Now the value of r now you have is like 20.5. That's still not the complete solution. You just work out the value of r for till now. Now you have to do a little bit more than that. So the value that's r, which is basically this one as well. So that's going to be 20.5. Now, again, you need the arc length. So arc length is unknown. For the arc length, I'm just going to make a line over here and then just find the arc length. Arc length is quite simple now. So it's going to be theta over 360 times 2 pi r. So the arc length was remaining. So angle is again 60 over 360. Now you have the value of r, and the value of r you just got as 20.5. Plug those everything in a calculator. Times 2 pi times radius is 20.5, and you would get the value for this one as 21.46. So 21.46 plus 21.5 you would get as 42.9 something. So 20.46 plus 20.5, that's the both lengths, equals to 42.9 something, 42.9, and that's going to be your answer. Make sense, my child? One more time, let's solve this whole thing one more time, okay? So that like no confusion is left. Okay. This question is divided into two parts for 4 marks. I'm just the first thing is they were asking you to calculate the parameter for this blue thing. So this parameter was required. This blue thing is required for calculating the value of this value or the radius. These are all the radiuses. So first things first, the area for the segment was given as 38. I used a method that we discussed earlier is that area of sector, the whole sector minus area of triangle would be equal to 38. Area of sector would be half, oh sorry, theta over 360, that's 60 divided by 360 times pi r squared. This r is unknown, minus area of triangle is going to be half two sides, both are radiuses, sine of 60, and that thing is going to be equal to 38. I took r squared common because r squared was in this as well as in this, and then just I was left with 360 over 360 times pi minus 1 over 2 times sine 60, and that was equivalent to 38. I just plug everything back as it is in a calculator. So 60 over 360 times pi, and then minus 1 over 2 times by sine 60. I got r squared times 0.0905 equals 38. So 38 divided by the value that I got r squared as 419.49. I rooted that to get the value of r, and r I got as, and the value of r that I got was 20.48. So 20.48 is my value of r. That's this value of r. Just since they were asking you to calculate the parameter, so you need the arc length as well. So second part of the question is about the arc length. So formula for arc length goes like 3 over 360 times 2 pi r. Angle is again 60 divided by 360 times 2 times pi, and the radius is, we just got 20.48. From there, just plug it in a calculator. 60 divided by 360 times 2 times pi times bracket 20.48. You would get the value as 21.44. So this one's 21.44. So again, 21.44, that's the arc length, plus 20.48, that's the uh, area of the radius, that's the value of the radius. You would get the final value as 41.9. So 41.9 is going to be your value for the parameter. Kiddo, I hope it all makes sense.
Okay, I finished doing it. I'm getting the right answer.
Come again?
I finished doing it and getting the right answer.
Excellent. Very good. Now this question, number 21, is again a good question. The curve has the equation of y equals f of x. There is one minimum point on the curve. The coordinate has a minimum point. The coordinates of the minimum point are 5 and negative 4. So there's a curve. Minimum point coordinates are 5 and negative 4. Write down the coordinates for the minimum points on the curve with equation f x plus 7. Any idea? X plus 7. So basically, x plus 7 means that if this is f of x and this is f x plus 7, so in general, the coordinate of x, you are adding 7 to it. What you have to do in this type of question is, whenever inside the bracket value is changing, I hope you have done it in the like reviewing that. So the value inside the bracket, when this one's changing, so if there's an addition to it, you actually have to subtract 7 from the x coordinate. And you like, it's always the case. 5 minus 7 you would get as negative 2. And the y coordinate stays the same and negative 4. That's one marker. Make sense?
Sense.
Yeah, always the case. So if it's inside the bracket, you would actually have to like do that. Okay. Acha. When it comes to the question where you have to like actually like, okay, now in this one where f of x minus 6. So whenever this f of x is f of x, and then you're subtracting 6 from it. So basically, this minus 6, again, now when this nothing being changed with f of x, we actually just have to subtract the value that's written at the end with the value of y. So in this case, with f of x is subtracting the extra number outside the bracket. So 5 it stays the same, doesn't really change. 5 doesn't change. Over here, that's negative 4. So then a negative 4 and negative 6 would give you negative 10. And that's again the value. Makes sense, kiddo? That's just one marker. There are few logics to it. There are two or three things. I hope you discussed that in functions. If you haven't, just tell me at the start of the next class, sir, the cases of functions graph, the movement graphs, just to tell those 5 cases. These two are very important. There are just 5 to it. Okay. Whenever something inside the bracket has addition to it, this plus 7, you actually have to subtract 7 from the x coordinate and you get the value. Again, if something is basically y equals f of x minus 6 is there, so you would add this value, the y coordinate to the minimum point, and you would get the answer. You can really later on check the mark schemes. These are going to be your answers. There are tricks to it, not real logics, but yeah, we discussed that. It's a completely different topic. Okay. Now we have a question for frequency distribution or frequency density, the one we did in histograms. The incomplete histogram shows some information about the distances in kilometers that 100 adults ran last week. All the adults ran at least 5 kilometers. None of the adults ran more than 55 kilometers. 14 adults ran between 15 kilometers and 20 kilometers. Okay, complete the histogram, and that's pretty much it, I guess. Okay. All the adults ran at least 5 kilometers. Okay. None of the adults ran more than 55 kilometers. Okay, so 55 kilometers. So the graph is going to start from 5. That's the initial thingy. 14 adults ran between 15 and 20 kilometers. Okay. That's again pretty basic then. Okay. So they're saying that 14 adults. So 14 adults ran between 15 and 20. So between 15 and 20, you have the frequency density that is actually, there's no frequency density given. All the adults ran between, okay. 14 adults ran between, none of the adults, okay. 14 adults ran between 15 and 20 kilometers. So 15 and 20, okay. The frequency is given. The frequency between 15 and 20 is given. That is basically 14. And the class width is also given. Okay. We discussed a formula that frequency density is equal to frequency divided by class width. They have given you 3 different options. The last option, if you look at that, they're given that 14 adults. That means 14 is basically the frequency. Ran between 15 and 20 kilometers. So 15 and 20, the class width is 5. So they have given you both the informations. From there, you can work out the frequency density, which would actually help you to plot the last coordinate. So the frequency density would be 14 divided by 5, which is basically 2.8. So this is 2.8. That means this is going to be 1, this is going to be 2, this is going to be 3, this is going to be 4. Just because of this block and the information that I got in the last line, I was actually able to work out the frequency density. And since I got the frequency density over here as 2.8, from there I thought, okay, this is 1, 2, then 2.1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I plotted all the values of the frequency density. And there I got 1 mark for this one. Okay. Now, since I wanted to, they want us to complete the histogram, the plotting was part of it. The second thing that they want us to do is to plot the values for like 5 and 15. So between 5 and 15, they have said that all the adults ran at least 5 kilometers. None of the adults ran between 15 kilometers. So the total number would be, there are 100 adults. Oh, right. So there are 100 adults. So 14 are over here. Now, this is now the big one, the big block I'm talking about. So this big block, the frequency density is 3.21234. That's 3.4. Now the frequency is not known to us. Again, I have the frequency density. I can work out the number of people. So frequency density again equals frequency over class width. The frequency density is 3.4. I don't know how many people are there, but I know the class width, that is between 20 and 35, which would be 15 in total. So 3.5 times it by 3.4 times it by 15, you would get the number of people as 51. So from this, these are 14, these are 51. Now let's calculate this one. So over here from 35 till 55, I would use the formula again. Frequency density is 0.8. So 0.8 frequency density is equal to the frequency that we do not have, and the width is 20. From 35 till 55, we have got 20 width. So 20 times 0.8, I would get the number of people that's going to be 16. These are 16 people. Last but not the least, since I am required to complete the histogram, just rub all the extra things. So I've got 14, 51, and 16. Since the total people are 100, so if the total people are 100, 14 lies in between 15 and 20. Then there are 51, then there are 16. I would get 19 people that are remaining. So from 5 till 15, there are 19 people. So from 5 till 15, there are a total of 19 people that are remaining. Frequency density equals frequency over class width. Last frequency density is 16, yeah, 19 people divided by the class width is going to be 10 for the last one. So 1.9. So last graph would be drawn over here. This is going to be my value. This is my complete histogram. This is how this question was supposed to be done. Little challenging, but yeah, okay, this is the last question, so they're supposed to be challenging. Make sense, my child?
Yep, makes sense.
Seriously, if you want me, I can repeat the whole thing again.
No, it makes sense, honestly.
Okay. Few questions remaining. Let's work it out real quick. Okay, question number 23. This one's again good. A solid shape is removed by removing a hemisphere shown shaded from the cone as shown in the diagram. The radius of the hemisphere is 2x. So this hemisphere has a radius of 2x. The radius of the base of the cone is 5x. 5x. The vertical height of the cone is 6x. 6x. The volume of the solid shape is 6948 pi. The whole thing has a volume of 6948 pi. Work out the total surface area. Oh, right. So you're required to calculate the total surface area of the solid hemisphere that has been removed from the cone. Give your answer correct to the nearest. Okay, okay. So solid hemisphere area. That's brilliant. And for that, I would definitely need to get the volume of the hemisphere. So let's start solving it. I would reach to an extent, reach to some solution from there. First of all, if you remember the value of the formula for the volume of the cone, that is basically 1 over 3 pi r cube. That is basically the volume of the cone. And from the volume of the cone, if you subtract the volume of the hemisphere, so that's going to be 4 over 6 pi r cubed. So these two formulas are given at the top of the exam paper. So although the volume of the sphere would be given, so hemisphere would be equal, like just you have to like divide it by 2, so 4 over 6 pi r cubed. And the volume of cone is going to be 1 over 3 pi r squared h. Yeah, pi r cube, I just wrote that wrong. I was just thinking about that. So pi r squared h. So pi r squared h rather than pi r cubed. So it's going to be pi r squared h. Okay. So if you get the whole volume of the cone, and if you take away the volume of this hemisphere, you would be left with the volume of the solid. So volume of the solid would be 6948 pi, which is going to be equal to 1 over 3 pi. The radius of the cone is 5x r squared, and the height of the cone is 6x minus 4 over 3 pi. The radius of the hemisphere is 2x and cubed. That's the start to it. Okay. Let's try solving that up now. So there, these both things have a 1 over 3 to it. If you can take it common and multiply 3 over there, that's possible. So 6948 pi times it by 3. Or you can say I'm just multiplying the whole equation by 3. 3 cancels out, and 3 cancels out. So where it would be written as pi times 25x squared times 6x minus 4 pi times 8x cubed. Now let's try solving it. Just stop me to a point wherever you want me to repeat anything, okay?
Okay.
So I'm multiplying these two numbers together first of all. So I would be left with 20844 pi equals to pi times 25 times 6 would be 150x cubed minus 4 pi 8x, or you can just multiply that 32. 8 times 4 is 32 pi x cubed. So pi is in all three. So again, I can remove the pi by adding I should never solve it for pi. A lot of students just put the value of pi and then get really confused. I just took pi as common. So pi I took common and then cancel that out. Now I can just 20844 equals to 150 minus 32. That would be equal to 118x cubed. Solving it, just getting the value till x over here. So 20844 divided by 118. The value is going to be 176.6. That's going to be equal to x cubed. You would have to cube root that, and you would be left with x as 5.61. So x is going to be equal to 5.61. From here is it's now again it's very easy. So just for the hemisphere, since you need the faces of the hemisphere. So if you look at the hemisphere, solid hemisphere, there's a pi r squared, and then there is this value. So surface area of hemisphere is divided into two parts. First is pi r squared, that's the top of the bowl, and the second one is this side. So the surface area is basically 4 pi r squared for the hemisphere complete. Oh, sorry, for the sphere. So you would have to divide it by 2 to get the value of this side. So since it's just a solid hemisphere that's given in the question, so solid hemisphere means this is the first part to it, and this is the second part to it. So the top and this one. So pi r squared is for the circle at the top, the closed one, and the center. So the sides. So basically, the formula that I made was along these lines. So pi r squared plus 4 pi r squared divided by 2. That's for the hemisphere. Okay. The radius I have now, since the radius is 2x and I have the value of x, that's 5.61. So radius would be equal to 2 times 5.61. Your value of r, that's going to be the radius, would be equal to 11.22. So you can just plug the values in. Pi times 11.22 squared plus 4 pi 11.22 squared over 2. Plug everything directly in a calculator without using, I would not recommend to do it step by step. I would recommend to just plug everything in a calculator. That is a whole lot easier compared to when you have to like do it step by step. It makes you make a lot of mistakes. A lot of people do make a lot of mistakes when they're doing that. But again, that's still up to you. Time divided by 2, your value of the surface area would be equal to 1186.47. You can write that down as 1190. 1190 because they are asking you to write the nearest integer. So my nearest integer is 1190, and that's how you're going to solve it. It will make sense.
Makes sense.
I'll share the whole paper. You can copy that down later on. We have got two questions left. I would do question 25 for now. Second last question is an arithmetic series question, and it had an angular and everything. It would require a lot more time. So just complete this one, and we can start of that with the next session. There's one more thing that we have to do before that. You have to make a timetable. Okay. 17 minus 3x squared plus 12x, and you have to require to put it in this form. What I personally like in these types of questions is I first expand them and then compare them. What the way I'm going to do it, 17 minus 3x squared plus 12x is going to be equal to a minus b as it is. First of all, I'm going to just expand this bracket. That's x squared minus 2cx plus c squared. Again, it's going to be a minus bx squared minus plus, basically minus minus plus bcx minus bc squared. And I'm hoping this is making sense. So a minus bc squared minus bx squared plus 2bcx is basically equal to 17 minus 3x squared plus 12x. Make sense? Honestly,
Yep.
I just expanded the bracket first of all by basic identity of a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. And then I multiplied b by everything that's there. So bx squared, this, everything multiplied. And then
Right.
since a was like, I just wrote it. So now what we do is we basically compare the coefficients in these types of questions to get the value of a, b, and c. So first of all, if you can look at that, with x squared, it's minus 3. With x squared over here is minus b. So minus 3 would be equal to minus b. So b would be equal to 3. That's 1 mark. Okay. Now with x, we have plus 2bc, and with x over here, we have got 12. So 12 would be equal to 2bc. b we have 3. 12 equals to 2 times 3 times c. So 12 divided by 3 to the 6. So c would be 2. That's second thing. Lastly, when there's the constant value is a minus bc squared, and over here the constant value is 17. So last thing that you have to do is 17 is going to be equal to minus a minus bc squared. You have the both values. 17 equals a minus b value is 3, and then c squared is going to be 2 squared. So 17 is going to be equal to a minus 3 times 4. 17 equals to a minus 12. So 17 plus 12, which will be equal to 29. So a would be equal to 29. After getting all the values, just plug it like this. So 29 minus 3 x minus 2 squared. That's the form, and that's the solution. 4 marks. Everything, all the question, that's